Okay, now we're ready to download the sample program. So first you want to make sure that your motors have motor controllers on it. Right, so that's something that I showed in class, but I just want to remind you that each motor has to have a motor controller on it, or it's not going to work because they were two-prong. They have to be in the motor controller to be three-prong. The other thing is that you need to plug in a completely charged battery. If it is not charged, it's not going to work. You want to prop your robot up. I think I've got a picture here that I can kind of explain with. Now you want to make sure that it's propped up so that the tires are not touching the ground. Because once you start downloading these on there, those wheels are going to move. Okay? I usually take the larger wheels and I stick it underneath my robot, and that's usually pretty good distance to use those. Okay, and also you want to make sure now that your charged battery's in there, and then you need to turn your Cortex on. Oh, and also, just in case you haven't done this already, the orange cable, make sure it's plugged into your computer, and it's also plugged into your Cortex. So everything's hooked up and ready to go. All right, so now let's go ahead and learn where those sample programs are. So you're going to click File. You're going to click Open Sample Program. And it's probably going to come up to a window that looks like this, or it might come up to a window that looks like this. If so, you want it on VEX 2. All right, now you have several different sample programs. All right, you've got different templates. You've got the natural language. We'll have the sonar, the touch sensors, the light sensor, so on and so forth. Just kind of realize what it is that you're looking for. If you're looking for the remote control, here's several examples for it. Okay, so this way you can kind of learn from these sample programs. It really does help a lot. All right, the Project Lead the Way, PL2W, is your blank template. Notice there's a backup. It's because a lot of times people will accidentally save on this blank template, and then they have a lot of typing on it. So that way you do have a backup you can make a copy of. Okay, we click on it, and here's just a blank template that you can go through. I'm going to go back to the sample programs. Right? And each time the video trainer refers to a template or refers to something, then it's looking for the training samples. So click on the training samples, go to motor port 3 forward, click on it. This is the first one that your video trainer wants you to have open, so make sure it's open. Notice there are tabs over here so that you can look at your template, go back to the motor port. You can have several programs open at once that way. Okay, the other thing you might want to use at some point is click on Robot, Advanced Tools, and go down to Software Inspection. Okay, so up here in the tab now, I have Software Inspection. I can check my battery here. Okay, it looks like it's good right now. If you're having problems and it's not downloading, that's the first thing you need to check is your battery. I do not have a backup battery plugged in at this point. Okay, so that's why it says poor, because there's not one in there. So you might check that if you start having some problems at some point. Okay, so now we are ready to save and download this. I'm going to click the robot. I'm sorry, compile and download. I'm going to click compile and download. And it's going to download my program. I do not have anything plugged in at this time. I do not have any motors and ports. And so I'm going to get error messages. But once you get to this point, you shouldn't have any error messages like I do because I don't have any motors plugged into it. But you're going to click Start. Now in the programs or in the video tutorials that you're going to be watching, they are going to tell you to put it on the floor and just click Start. But we don't have that cable that goes from the computer to the remote control. So what you're going to have to do instead is first check it by saying start. Once you click start, it's going to download it and should run the program onto your robot the way that you have it plugged in. Then you're going to turn off your robot, you're going to unplug it, set it on the ground, turn it back on, and then it's going to run that autonomous program. Right? And then turn it off, put it back up on its wheels or whatever you have it propped on, plug it all back in, turn it back on, and you'll be able to reprogram it again at that point. So we do not have that cable that goes between the computer to the remote the way that the videos are showing. So like I said, when it says to download the program, you're going to have to download it, turn it off, set it on the floor, turn it back on, and it should run that program. Okay. So go ahead and make sure here that you have this program ready to go for the next video.